The day Billionaire CEO Daniel Harrington announced he was getting married, the entire city froze in shock. Daniel, the powerful and reserved head of Harrington Global Industries, was known for his ruthless business strategies, billion-dollar deals, and a lifestyle that screamed luxury. He had been featured on magazine covers, invited to elite gatherings, and linked to some of the most influential women in the country. Yet somehow, he had remained single. So when news broke that he was marrying a homeless woman, people assumed it was a joke. But Daniel Harrington never joked. The truth was far more complicated than gossip columns could imagine. 6 months earlier, Daniel's grandfather, the founder of the Harrington Empire, had passed away. In his final will, he left behind a strange condition. Daniel would inherit full control of the family fortune only if he married within 1 year, not for love, not for status, but for responsibility. The old man believed marriage would humble his grandson and teach him compassion. Daniel had laughed at first. Marriage was not a business merger he could negotiate. It required emotion, vulnerability, things he had carefully locked away after a painful betrayal years ago. As the months passed, pressure mounted. Board members whispered. Investors questioned stability. The media speculated endlessly. Daniel dated several women from elite circles, but every conversation felt rehearsed, every smile strategic. Then one rainy evening changed everything. Daniel was leaving his office late when he noticed a young woman sitting outside the building entrance. She was soaked from the rain, her thin jacket offering little protection. Despite her condition, she wasn't begging. She simply sat there quietly, reading a worn-out book under the dim streetlight. Something about her calm presence caught his attention. He approached her cautiously. "Why are you sitting here?" he asked. She looked up, startled but composed. Her eyes were sharp, intelligent. "I'm not bothering anyone," she replied softly. "The security guard said I could sit here until the rain stops." Her name was Emily Carter. She explained she had once been a university student studying architecture. After her mother fell seriously ill, medical bills piled up. Emily dropped out of school to work multiple jobs, but when her mother passed away, debt collectors took everything. With no family left and nowhere to go, she ended up on the streets. Daniel listened, strangely moved. She didn't ask for money. She didn't recognize him. She didn't care who he was. For the first time in years, someone looked at him without calculating his net worth. An idea formed in his mind, bold, impulsive, almost reckless. "What if I offered you a place to stay?" he asked carefully. "In exchange for something." Emily narrowed her eyes. "What kind of exchange?" "A marriage. Temporary. 1 year. It would help me fulfill a legal condition. In return, I'll provide you with housing, financial security, and pay off your debts." She stared at him as if he had lost his mind. "You're serious?" "Yes." She should have walked away. Any sensible person would have. But life had already taken everything from her. What did she have left to lose? After a long silence, she said, "I'll agree. But we set rules. No control over my personal dreams. I continue studying if I want. And after 1 year, we part ways peacefully." Daniel nodded. Agreed. The wedding was private but impossible to hide from the press. Headlines exploded. "Billionaire marries homeless woman. Is it love or legal strategy? Gold digger or genius move?" Emily felt the weight of judgment instantly. Designers refused to dress her. Socialites mocked her background. At corporate events, wives of executives whispered behind champagne glasses. Daniel noticed everything. At first, their marriage was strictly business. Separate rooms, polite conversations, clear boundaries. But slowly, something shifted. Emily insisted on cooking sometimes instead of relying on private chefs. She reorganized neglected spaces in the mansion, turning cold rooms into warm living areas. She volunteered quietly at shelters on weekends, never telling the media. One evening, Daniel followed her secretly. He watched as she handed out food, spoke gently with struggling families, and sat beside a little girl helping her with homework. She radiated purpose, not for attention, but from genuine empathy. Daniel realized something uncomfortable. She was teaching him. In board meetings, he started reconsidering harsh cost-cutting measures. He launched a new corporate initiative providing housing support for struggling employees. Profits dipped slightly at first, but public trust soared. For the first time, his company wasn't just powerful. It was respected. At home, conversations deepened. Emily challenged him intellectually. She debated architecture, sustainability, ethics in business. She wasn't just surviving, she was brilliant. One night during a storm much like the one they first met in, the mansion lost power temporarily. Without phones or distractions, they sat by candlelight. "Do you ever regret agreeing to this?" Daniel asked quietly. Emily thought for a moment. "No, it gave me a second chance. But I don't want to be rescued forever. I want to build something myself." He smiled faintly. "You already are." Weeks turned into months. Media perception slowly changed. Stories emerged about Emily's volunteer work. Former classmates spoke about her academic excellence. Investors praised Daniel's new humanitarian initiatives. But not everyone was pleased. A senior executive named Victor believed Emily was influencing Daniel too much. He feared the company's softer approach would reduce profits long-term. Quietly, Victor began investigating Emily's past, hoping to uncover something scandalous. He found nothing criminal, but he manipulated the narrative. He leaked a story suggesting Emily had orchestrated the marriage to gain access to wealth. The scandal erupted overnight. Reporters surrounded the mansion. Social media exploded with accusations. Daniel confronted Emily. "Did you know this would happen?" She shook her head, tears in her eyes, not of guilt, but exhaustion. "I knew people wouldn't accept me. But I didn't expect this." For the first time, Daniel felt protective, not out of obligation, but genuine care. At a press conference, he stood beside her publicly. "This marriage was my decision," he stated firmly. "Emily Carter did not chase my wealth. If anything, she has improved this company and my life." His bold defense silenced many critics. Privately, Daniel uncovered Victor's scheme and terminated him immediately. Transparency reports cleared Emily's name completely. As the one-year deadline approached, tension filled the mansion. Their contract was clear. After 12 months, the marriage could end. One evening, Emily handed Daniel an envelope. "What's this?" he asked. "My acceptance letter," she said softly. "I've been readmitted to university. Full scholarship." He felt pride and fear. "You're leaving. I promised I wouldn't depend on you forever." The final day arrived quietly. No cameras, no reporters. They sat across from each other in the same room where they had first signed their agreement. "The year is over," Emily said gently. Daniel's voice was steady, but his eyes revealed everything. "The contract is over, but I don't want our story to be." Silence filled the air. "I married you to fulfill a will," he continued. "But somewhere along the way, you fulfilled something. In me I didn't know was empty." Emily's breath caught. "This time," he said softly, "I'm asking without contracts. Without conditions. Stay because you want to." Tears welled in her eyes, not from sadness, but from a love that had grown slowly, honestly. "I never wanted your money," she whispered. "I wanted respect, and you gave me that." She reached across the table, taking his hand. "I'll stay." Months later, Harrington Global launched a foundation dedicated to housing and education support, led by Emily herself while she completed her architecture degree. The foundation designed affordable housing projects that were not just shelters, but dignified communities. Daniel remained CEO, but now with a partner who balanced ambition with heart. The public eventually stopped calling her the homeless bride. They started calling her the woman who changed a billionaire. But in private moments, away from headlines and boardrooms, they both knew the truth. They had changed each other. And what began as a contract became a love story neither of them had planned, but both of them chose.